Hey guys, and welcome back for another episode of the Butterfly Effect podcast. I'm Jack and I'm here with Liam.
How's it going?
And today we're doing a quick breakdown of the golden picture frame from The Devil in Me and the Directive 8020 reveal trailer.
Yeah, so obviously this was a bit of footage that was the first bit in the trailer, but the second one was found in The Devil in Me, if you found the gold frame. So yeah, Jack and I are just going to play the video together and just pause it, play and analyse bits. So yeah, let's get stuck straight in, Jack. I just want to comment on their outfits, mate. So, it's at this moment that we fully know it's Directive 8020 that we're going to be looking at. I want your brief thoughts, mate. Are you excited to have a game that's set in space?
I am, yeah, because it's going to be incredibly different from what we've experienced already. Me, personally, I've not played space horror before, or even sci-fi horror. So this would be a first for me. It's typical. It's like buses, right? We're gonna have, you had none for ages, and then you get two at the same time. Like I mentioned in the other video, we're gonna have this, and we're gonna have Telltale's The Expanse in quick succession.
Of course, no, I completely agree. And just based off of the outfits, they look really cool and unique, almost like a weird sort of Halo costume. So I'm just super excited to sort of see what comes about of this and, to meet the characters. And I'm also really intrigued to see who the big actor they're going to bring in, which one that will be. Brutal. I don't know if you've ever seen the film Space Odyssey, mate, Stan Kubrick's one. But it's really brutal, and, the whole film basically tackles isolation in space, and the whole thing comes about because of a very similar scene where one of the characters gets blown away. Admittedly, that one's at the hands of a robot. This one's at the hands of something else. And yeah, it almost just feels like we're going to have some kind of monster or maybe saboteur on board which has just killed someone there. And it's being very ambiguous with what the threat on the spaceship's going to be. But I'm so intrigued. It could be zombies in space. It could be just a human saboteur. Any early thoughts, mate?
I do, actually. I'll share that in a minute, actually, because I do have some ideas on that. But talking about this specific scene, how a character's just been blasted away into space, could this potentially be the prologue that we're looking at? How's the prologue going to work? Is that also going to be set in space? Is it going to be on a different planet? Is it going to be back in time when, I don't know, the crew were being put together? There's so many mysteries here.
This is Commander Stafford, the forward reconnaissance vessel Cassiopeia. After successfully rendezvousing with a Charybdis marker, we have detached the booster ring and spurred high as we make our final approach to Tau Ceti F.
I just want to make a brief comment. So clearly, it looks like here we have cracks, possibly, in a helmet. So maybe that was a blunt object which caused it. Maybe that was at the hands of a monster. We also have blood here, so it might be that there's actually a head under that blackened visor, and that we've got a behead here. But it really just poses questions of the horror element of this game. What is it that's beheaded or just absolutely decapitated this person? I just want to talk briefly about possible inspirations for this game, because we've had The Devil in Me just now, which was heavily inspired by Saw and The Shining, as discussed by Tom Heaton. Now, I've just got a few films, mate, which possibly could draw inspiration towards Directive 8020. The first one being Aliens. Obviously, it's one of the best films set in space to do with horror. I mean, if not the best. Will it be that we get some kind of freaky alien aboard that maybe possesses people in some way? That would be just absolutely cool. Or that infests itself on the motherboard. We also, I possibly think this film might take inspiration from a film called Event Horizon. I mentioned this in my gameplay, but Event Horizon is this film about these people who go on board this motherboard spaceship which was abandoned 7 years ago, and then they find all these dark horrors, and it gets pretty weird with all these gods and all this torture. So it could be one of those, and it's such a great gritty 90s film, and I would love for a choice-based game by Supermassive Games to kind of tackle a subject like that. So yeah, those are my thoughts there, mate.
The ship has suffered a hull impact, but damage is minimal, and our technicians are restoring full functionality.
This is Thomas Carter. Something's wrong with Sims. She's trying to kill me. I think...
Yeah, obviously we've got the name of our first character there, Thomas Carter. Now, I don't recognise the name per se, nor do I recognise the voice. So could this be the new actor in the role? It's probably unlikely. Who knows, it could be. If you do recognise the voice, let us know in the comments. It could be a good idea to see who will be the lead actor in this particular game. But it also goes on to say here that he's being attacked by Sims. Now, my theory early doors in this game is perhaps that they land on a different planet. Maybe there's some sort of foreign substance that infects one of the crew, and in this case it being Sims, and that ends up almost like in The Quarry with werewolves. They then start to attack the other members of the crew. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, of course, and I've done a bit of name research, and Sims is a literal name translation for the listener. So it's a Hebrew name, but, make of that what you will. That could be an interesting theory. Could it be that, or could it literally be that we're being attacked by, a character from The Sims? But yeah, like you mentioned as well, mate, really interesting that, Sims is trying to kill me. They've given a name to someone who possibly is like a technician or someone, a part of the crew. And that is just really interesting to see that it possibly is some form of possession or some form of infection, that we're going to have crew possibly turning against each other. Another theory that, I have to admit this came from my brother. Will it be a bit like your fantasy game, mate, that you created, like The Thing? Will it be that, our characters get possessed and, this possession can shift between different crewmates? That would be a very interesting game, and it would be one that I'd very much love to see.
Our next transmission will be broadcast from orbit around humanity's future home. Staff it out.
One final thing as a potential theory. Perhaps this is like the jeopardy of the situation that they're in. So if there's like a foreign substance on board, perhaps, and obviously they're talking about humanity's future home, so clearly something's gone down on Earth. Maybe it's war, climate change, whatever, right? Perhaps it's incredibly important that they don't bring this foreign substance to wherever they go, because otherwise it will completely wipe out humanity, or it completely null and voids the mission that they were trying to do in order to escape the perils that are happening on Earth. It's an early thought, but we'll have to see.
Of course. One thing I just want to quickly tie back to is we have this shot here of an eclipse. Now, does the eclipse tie into the game somewhat? If there are monsters, is it that they become active during an eclipse? Is it that, our cast of 5 aren't safe during the eclipse? And we'll have to see if the eclipse is a key part to this game. Another thing as well I want to flash back to, if I can find it. What I'm seeing here is, I've paused it on the horror, it almost feels like there's a scream, and then there's like these flashes onto this like purple vision, and it looks like it's inboard the spaceship. And I don't know if you've watched Stranger Things, but it almost looks like an organ sort of cobweb has absolutely filled the spaceship, and almost like an entity has taken over the spaceship. It almost looks to the left here that I'm hovering that we've almost got a weird heart thing. Is that an organ? Is there like an alien that's kind of infested itself on the ship? Maybe it's like Man of Medan, and then our crew go on board a bigger vessel, a bit like in Event Horizon I mentioned. But yeah, very weird how there's almost like this alien-esque entity that's on the board with all these organs. What do you guys think this could mean? It almost looks very Stranger Things-esque, like something you'd see in the Upside Down. It says Season 2 premiere, guys, so it doesn't give us a release date. Jack, you're usually an expert at guessing when these games come out, considering with The Devil in Me, you were one day off. if you had to estimate, mate, when do you reckon us fans can enjoy Directive 8020?
It's a good question. This is probably the hardest to predict because we don't know what's going on at Supermassive Games. Will they use this on opportunity as to take a year off? You know, maybe to polish certain things, whether it's graphically, gameplay-wise. You know, they're constantly learning and taking feedback, so there might be things they hear from the devil in me that they might then want to go into Directive 8020 and tinker and play with. But at the same time, like, there's the news recently that they're thinking about making the next blockbuster Supermassive game to be in 2025, 2026. Obviously, we're in the year 2022 now, so it would make sense that if they were to bring one Dark Pictures game out every year for the next 4 years, then that would wrap up season 2, and then that would naturally follow with another Supermassive blockbuster. So fingers crossed that it is going to be next year, but the fact that they've not confirmed a date, it does leave that possibility that they might take a year out and do other things. I'm not sure. What about you, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think, if they don't have a big blockbuster next year, I was thinking maybe they could move it earlier than October/November. Maybe we could get like a, you know, I'm being really optimistic here, but a summer release. Or maybe we could get 2 Dark Picture Anthologies, because I know that was possibly what was supposed to happen before the pandemic threw their little kind of schedule off. So maybe that could be a possibility, but maybe I'm just being too much of a wishful thinker. Let us know in the comments, guys, what you think. So guys, let us know in the comments, when do you think this game's coming out? Let us know what you think that weird purple cobwebby organ stuff is on the whole. What do you reckon the Jeopardy's going to be? Just tell us your overall thoughts and whether you're excited about, Directive 8020, that we're going to have a supermassive Dark Picture Anthology game set, in space. Thank you very much for watching this, guys. If you enjoyed it, be sure to check out our other Devil in Me videos that we're throwing out constantly. And be sure to check out our other videos in the future, because we will definitely be analysing this more whenever more gets released, mate.
Fantastic. Catch you later, guys. Take care.
Have a good one.